I had a whole plan in mind. I wanted to go freelance and I was planning to save up for the next 6 months to a year, gather a lot more industry experience and also build my network. But life had completely different ideas for me. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Maya. I'm a brand designer and packaging specialist, and in today's video I wanted to talk about my personal freelance experience for the last year. It's my first year freelancing and I wanted to talk about the reality of it, my personal experience, and what I learned, all the struggles, all the wins, and hopefully to help any of you that are considering going freelance. So without further ado, let's go straight into a year ago, summer 2024, where I am in deep postpartum depression by having my first baby boy. I was struggling a lot with my mental health, and of course, what do you want when you are in a really low point? To work in a really negative work environment. And what I mean by that is, in my case, I joined what I thought to be my dream company, my dream job, my dream team. For the first month, I was ecstatic. Everything was falling into place and I was feeling really happy. And then the company started announcing redundancies. They were definitely not being transparent. My team struggled a lot with figuring out how to navigate these big changes. I was a manager of 2 other designers and the company was not allowing me to have enough information so that I can support them. The company announced that my role was safe. However, many of my team, the other designers, would be made redundant very soon. But I couldn't ask for any more information. We started isolating ourselves. We started feeling really low. What really made it worse for me was the fact that I couldn't support my team the way that I wanted. I was almost not allowed to speak to them about the situation until it was quite late. Many people left the team and I was left with a lot of stress because it doesn't matter if my role was safe. I didn't feel safe working for a company that from one day to the other, they just let people go and they never even acknowledged it in the team and company meetings. That really helped me to understand that that company's values don't align with my own values. And even though I had the plan to save money, build my network, I decided that for my mental health at that point, the best thing was to go freelance. Some months I was paid 0 and other months I was paid even £6,000. It varies a lot, and I think that is also the case of me going unplanned into freelancing. And let me tell you, even though I've had a lot of struggles during the last year of me freelancing, I still do not regret my decision to go freelance last year. I learned so much. And actually, when I was very close to deciding to go freelance last year, an old client of mine from a previous job that was really happy with the outcome back when we worked together came to me and asked if I take commissions and if they can hire me for a new company as a freelancer. So I really felt like this was a true sign for me to take this opportunity and start building my network as a freelancer. And that's what I did. I gave my notice and I started working as a freelancer. My first project as a freelancer last year was with that client I mentioned just now to you. And the project was just insane and it made me more confident. It made me believe that I can do this and that with a bit of luck on top of my hard work, I can actually do this. Obviously, not every month was the same as the first few months that I was working on this project. I have had a lot of ups and downs, and I think this is the reality of going freelance and working for yourself. By going freelance very suddenly and not following the initial plan I had, that meant that I didn't have much saved money. I hadn't built the systems I wanted so that I can save time and work efficiently with my potential clients. And my network was not as strong as I was hoping. That became obvious a bit later on in my freelance journey. I was very lucky the first few months. I would say the first 6 months, I was very lucky because I almost had consistent work, really interesting and big projects, and clients that were proper green flags, clients that cared about their project, their brand, but also cared about paying the invoices on time and giving structured feedback and listening to my expertise and my advice. And basically, it was all a dream. So the first 6 months, I would say, were not the most realistic for the way I became a freelancer. This, even though I tried really hard not to get my hopes very high, this made me have my hopes really high, and I thought that every month will be like that, and I had really false thoughts of how the future will be. And the new year came. I also got another big, really amazing project with some great clients. So I worked on that, and then crickets. So for the last 3 or 4 months, it has been very slow, and I started to notice the impact of me going freelance suddenly and not with my initial plan. Of course, even if you have the plan and you actually execute it exactly how you thought, you still can get a lot of ups and downs, a lot of frustration. But for me, it was very obvious because my network was not there yet. But what helped me when I had lots of projects lined up and I was fully booked, but also helped me when I didn't have many projects and I was struggling financially. What helped me was a few things that I managed to set in place for my freelance. So first of all, I would say that my family and my friends helped me a lot to not lose hope, to not lose my scope of goal that I have set for myself and my business. It also, of course, helped the fact that my husband has a steady income, and it helped with the months that I was not very stable and I could not provide as much as the previous months that I was fully booked. And also trying to find online design and creative communities. I think it's a very important thing when you are a freelancer, because when you work for yourself and you are by yourself for most of the day, it gets lonely. And then when you get lonely, you start losing hope, you start losing the perspective you have, you start thinking of things in a negative way, and then you get into a rabbit hole that you definitely don't want when you are a freelancer. So I found this community through Instagram. It's a co-working call that Vicky has created for creatives around the world, and every Thursday I was able, not every Thursday, but a lot of Thursdays I was able to join the 1-hour call that she is organizing, and I would listen to other designers' journeys or struggles or successes and achievements. I would share my own thoughts and my own problems, and I would just speak with people that have very similar ways and very similar routine with their own businesses. And also I had the opportunity to meet some amazing people that I am connected with now and I can speak to at any point on social media. Shout out to Vicky from Design Some More that has created these awesome co-working calls. I will put her links down in the description as well. It also helped me a lot to meet with some friends in town, and I would go for a walk and I would just gain some new perspective or just feel a bit more confident with the plan that I was recreating with my freelancing journey. What made me really struggle is the fact that I was basically building the whole thing while I was also operating it. And I am still trying to find my ways. My systems are not perfect. I've used some templates from other designers that have been doing the freelance game for longer than me, but I am also in the process now to create my own templates, and I feel really good about it. At some point I will be able to share them with you down in the description of my videos as well as my website. Something I also learned the hard way is that some ways of working might not work for all clients, so you have to really know a lot about people's psychology and to read the signs, to ask the right questions, to figure out how you can work with someone specifically. And also that made me change my initial system from the first few clients to the next client because I had an issue. So after that project, in my process, I always present and I always ask questions and I always email after the call what we have discussed so that we have the written confirmation of what we have agreed for the next steps, so that we have a clear direction of everything and we have a clear choice of everything. I also found out the hard way again that a client that has been a green flag for some time can very quickly become a red flag and disappoint you completely. Some learnings I've had during this journey is the fact that therapy helps, journaling helps, talking to your friends and family helps a lot. Their support means everything. You don't have to do everything on your own. As I said, you can find so many creatives communities out there and you can speak to other creatives even if it's not part of a community. You can just message people that you find on social media. Everyone responds, everyone is kind, everyone has been through the struggles and the ups and downs. Something also to keep in mind when you start freelancing, even if you have started years ago and it's going well, is to not compare yourself to the other designers. Look at their journey, but never compare yourself and your journey and your work with other designers. I found it really useful, even though a lot of the times I still compare myself to other designers, but I'm always trying to snap out of it and think, where am I in my freelance journey and where are they in their freelance journey? And that makes a huge difference because I've only just started freelancing, but I'm comparing myself to designers that they have had their own freelance business for 10 years and it's not the same. My advice to any designer out there that is thinking of going freelance is to first, if you are a very new designer, I would not go straight away freelance because working in the industry, working with a team, working with other people, maybe find a mentor or two will help you a lot to learn, adjust, struggle, get frustrated, challenge yourself before you are able to go freelance. Another thing I would say, something that all freelancers are talking about, but I'm not sure how much information is out there and if it's enough, is about pricing. I can do a separate video about it as well while I am figuring it out. I think I have a pretty clear formula to price my projects based on my experience, the time that a project would take, and I usually don't charge by the hour or by the day. I might have a retainer contract with some companies that they hire me for X amount of days per week or X amount of days per month, but they still know exactly how they will be paying me for those days and for the amount of work per month. Another thing that I want to mention before finishing this video is one of the most important things I found during this journey of my first year as a freelance designer is to have a very clear contract in place. Always send a contract to your clients, have them read it and then sign it. It's very important because you can put all of the details, your process, how you work, the days and times that you are working, and when they can contact you, when they can expect a response from you, how long will the project each time take roughly, how much you are charging, how much is your deposit. Always have at least 50% deposit. These are some of the most important learnings I've had during this 1 year journey. I also have a video, a story time with a client I had that basically I had too much conflict and I had to terminate the project early. So I'm gonna leave it here and also in the description for you to have a look if you are interested in learning how I navigated that and what was the outcome of it. And if you are already a freelancer, if you have just started or if you have been doing it for quite a while, I would love to hear your advice or your stories or how your journey is going and what helps you or what you're struggling with down in the comments. I would love to talk about our freelance journeys. And also, if this video hits home and if you learned something, don't forget to subscribe and also like the video because it helps me a lot.